Hello everyone, welcome. I'm back with another design team video for the Not Too Shabby shop, and I'm going to show you the stamp that I chose for the month of February. This is a brand new stamp from the Greeting Farm, and it's called Miss Anya Buckles. I just love these little girls, they're so cute. I'm going to be making 3 cards with this stamp set. I also picked up this darling stamp set. It's called Grateful for You, and I just loved the bold sentiments. I thought they would work perfectly behind these little girls. So let's get started and ink up these images. I've never had a Greeting Farm stamp set before, so this company is new to me. Jamie has a lot of variety in her Not Too Shabby shop, and it's been a lot of fun for me designing cards using stamps from all of these different companies. I have a 10% off coupon code for the Not Too Shabby shop to share with all of you. Some exclusions do apply, but the code is N2S10, so Not Too Shabby 10. I have the code listed below and over at my blog. She also has a reward program. If you sign up over at her shop, you can earn points for all of the different purchases that you make. I'm going to stamp out the girl in the center first, but I want to stamp out this darling pair of glasses on this girl in the middle. And I actually could have just stamped out the girls and stamped the glasses last, but I like to do things the hard way. So I'm going to stamp out the glasses first and then line up the little girl's eyes so they are inside the glasses. The cardstock I'm using is Spectrum Noir Ultra Smooth Premium White cardstock. I'm really loving this cardstock lately. It's nice and smooth, and it works really great with Copic or alcohol ink markers. I usually use the Neenah Solar White 80 or 110 pound cardstock, which is really great too. But I was just in the mood to try something new, and a lot of the card crafters I watch on YouTube use this, and so I wanted to give it a try. I stamped up these images a few times because the lines are really thick on these images. I love it. So they're just so darling. And now let's jump right into the Copic coloring. I really love coloring in larger images like these for my cards. And just look at how adorable they are. They're all wearing these cute boots with buckles on all of them. Hence the name of this stamp set, Miss Anya Buckles. I'll have a link to Jamie's shop if you want to check out this stamp set there. And I have links to all of the products I'm using listed below and over at my blog. For her hair, I wanted to do something a little different. I really love this combination for hair, but I usually use it for mermaids. But I wanted to have a little pop of pink for this girl. And then I want her shirt to be white, so I'm just putting in some gray shadows. Her sweater's going to be green. I have a sweater like this that I just love. I wear it all the time, and when it gets too hot, I wrap it around my waist like this. So this is my favorite of the 3 images. And then I'm going to use the same pink markers I used in her hair for her cute little skirt. You can see the names to the different markers I'm using on the caps up in the corner, but I'll also have them listed over at my blog. I'm going to use different markers to create different skin tones on each girl. I'm going to put down a little bit of sparkle on their buckles on their boots. This is just a glitter stardust pen from Jelly Roll. It's hard to pick up on the camera, but it adds just a cute touch of sparkle. I'm also using a white Jelly Roll pen to add highlights to my image. I also fussy cut her out. There aren't coordinating dies for this set, but they're pretty easy to fussy cut out. To create a background for this little girl, I'm going to use a brick stencil and some Victorian Velvet Distress ink. I just have a mini cube of that. I just want a soft impression of this, so I'm not taking it all the way out to the edges. The darkest point will be in the center. And since it's Distress Oxide, I am going to use some water droplets and distress it a little bit. I'm just pouring some water into the palm of my hand. I'll pick that up and just flick it on my paper. I wait for a few seconds, about 20 seconds, and then I will blot that up with a tissue. And it just creates a cute, distressed look. There. I'm also going to put the stencil back on it and add more distressing over it. This will help the distressing just to stand out a little bit. It just darkens it, as you can see here. And then I'm just going to allow that to air dry before I put my card together. I'm using a wonky stitched die to cut out this panel. This cuts it down so that it's a little bit smaller than a standard A2 sized card. Now for the fun sentiment. I'm using the sentiment from the Grateful for You stamp set. And it says, "You'll always have a friend in me." And I'm stamping it up a few times with some VersaFine Onyx black ink. And it just stamps over these bricks beautifully. That's why I didn't want the bricks to be too dark. Look how cute that is. I just love the font on that. This is my card base, and I wanted to use the same Victorian Velvet ink on the edges. I don't care to have a perfectly blended edge. I want it to be kind of distressed looking. I just put down a lot of color, and I'm going to allow that to dry before I attach my stenciled piece. And then for the little girl, I'm going to add some foam tape behind her, just to add a cute touch of dimension and to pop her off the card a bit. Now I can pull off the release paper and attach her to the front of my card. There, she looks so cute. Press her down in place, and I am going to put a few confetti sequins across this panel. This adds a cute pop of color and sparkle. Next, for some glossy accents on her glasses. And I wished that I had put a little bit of Jelly Roll dots in her eyes just to brighten up her eyes. I do this on the next two girls, but for this one, I forgot to do that. The glossy accents adds a darling touch to this card. And here it is, all finished. I just love the way this one turned out. Could do so much with these stamps. On card number 2, I restamped my images because I messed up on the coloring and I wanted to start over. So I'm coloring in this cute little girl with a darker skin tone. These are perfect images to use to practice coloring in different skin tones. I had a lot of fun doing this. And I apologize that you can't quite see the markers up in the corner. I wanted to color this close up for all of you, but as I said, the markers will be listed over at my blog. On each of these girls, I used 3 different Copic markers for their skin tones, as well as a pink to add a little color to their cheeks. For the highlights of her hair, I'm starting with some purple markers, a light purple and a dark purple. Then I go in with a dark brown color. I'm doing a lot of flicking because I wanted to add texture to her hair as well as to leave a lot of cute highlights. Like I did with the first girl, I added pink to her hair. To this girl, I'm adding the purple just to add a cute touch to it. I love how this one turned out. This was really fun to color. I'm using a white Jelly Roll pen to add a few highlights. And now for her clothes. And again, I'm using the same markers I did in her hair for some of her clothes, her shirt and her socks. This time her boots are going to be gray. I'm going to use that same Stardust glitter pen for the buckles. Her little jacket's going to be yellow. I'm using 3 different yellows for this. And then her skirt's going to be a Levi blue. I'm actually going to use this blue combination on the 3rd little girl for her jeans. But let's hop into the coloring of the flowers next. These flowers I'm going to put behind this girl. For each girl, I'm using a different background. And I love coloring in flowers. These were so much to color in. I believe that these are sweet peas. When I was a kid, we had these beautiful purple sweet peas growing wild around our house. I just loved picking them in the summer. One of my favorite flowers. And I think I say that for every flower, but I do love a beautiful flower stamp. I wanted to use a really bright green for the greenery on these. I just love this combination. And I'm using 3 different markers for this. I didn't show all of the coloring because I just did a lot of repetition. I'm using some squeezed lemonade on the background first before I attach my flowers. I love using complementary colors, so I'm using the yellow so that it'll make the purple of the girl and the flowers just pop. I'll adhere that down onto my card base, and I did cut it down a little bit. I'm using more foam tape behind my girl. I do this for all 3 of them. And I will attach her first. And now I can put my flowers around her. I'm just gluing them down flat with some liquid adhesive. I end up using every single image that I colored in, and I'm just tucking these around the card. They're all going to be touching. I'm using some Spectrum Noir clear glitter on the flowers. I wish this showed up better on the camera, but it just looks gorgeous. I'm using 3 different sizes of clear gemstones. And that finishes off card number 2. I really love the color palette on this card. And now to color in my 3rd little girl. And as I said, I'm using the same blues that I used on my 2nd girl. I just love these little jeans with the stitching on the sides. They're so darling. And then I'm using yet again another skin tone combo. So I'm going to color right over her eyes. But I do remember to come back in with a white Jelly Roll pen, as you see there, to brighten it up. Her shirt's going to be pink. And I'm even going to use some of these Copic marker pinks to add highlights to her hair after I finish coloring it. She's going to be a cute little redhead. I love coloring in hair. It's just a fun thing to do, in my opinion. And this is where I add a few pinks. Her boots are going to be a soft suede brown. Then I'll use that same Jelly Roll Glitter Stardust pen over the buckles. I fussy cut this image out, and next I'm going to start on the background. I'm using another cute stencil. This one is from My Favorite Things. I really love this heart pattern. It's so cute. I tape it to the back and then I flip it over. Then it won't shift around on me while I pull out my foam blending tools. I'm using a little bit of Distress Oxide ink this time. This one is called Spun Sugar. And then to darken it up, I'm going to use some worn lipstick. And I just want it pale again so that I can stamp my sentiment over it and it'll show up really well. I cut it down with a faux stitched die. This time I'm using the sentiment that says, "I'm so grateful for you." And I love a sentiment that's nice and big and bold like this. So I'm going to be using these a lot. I'm going to stamp it with VersaFine Onyx Black ink again. I love this ink for stamping out my sentiments. It's just bold and black. There, that looks so pretty. And now I can put my card together. I'm using a little bit of craft cardstock on my card base. And then next will be my stenciled panel. And then the girl I'm going to pop up with some foam tape. I try to put as much foam tape on these images as I can so they don't sag in the mail. I'll put her in the corner there. And then for a pop of color, I'm going to use more sequins. And these are just pink gemstones from Pretty Pink Posh. I use these a lot. They're one of my favorites. And they blend in really well with the background. It's just a very subtle pop of pink sparkle. And that finishes up card number 3. Thanks for watching, my crafty friends. I hope that you enjoyed watching these videos and were inspired to create some beautiful cards of your own. Check out the Not Too Shabby shop. They have a wide variety of beautiful products at great prices. The links are below. And I will be back very soon with another video. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Bye, everyone.